Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here and welcome back to another Ninjago Season 10 discussion video here on the channel. In today's video, since, Season 10 is done airing in New Zealand and, everyone has pretty much seen it except for me, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it some more because that's what the people want, so I deliver. In this video, we're going to be discussing some of the secrets and some of the, things that weren't really clear from the Season 10, overall story, whether it be from the finale or the overall season in general. I'm just going to sit here and talk about this. I have a list here of all the things that I want to discuss, so we'll go ahead and do just that. Of course, if you have not yet seen Season 10, this is a huge spoiler warning right here. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you have not yet seen it, feel free to click off and go check out one of my other videos. That would be very much appreciated. In the meantime, though, for those of you that have seen it, or if you just don't care about spoilers like I do, welcome, let's go ahead and talk about this. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about that wasn't really clear was the whole aspect of the first SPINJITZU master. Of course, as we know, he does appear in this season in the final episode when the ninja do the tornado of creation and Lloyd is somehow teleported to the first SPINJITZU master's home world or the home realm or whatever this place is. And this scene is very interesting for a few reasons. For one, the first SPINJITZU master was always seen as a sort of spiritual figure in the past Ninjago seasons. He was there and we've heard mentions of him before, but we haven't actually seen him, in his entirety. And even then in this scene, we still haven't really seen his face or anything like that because it's always been very obscure and we really haven't had like a full-on look at it. But now we finally get one and it is very mysterious. Who knows what this has in store for Lloyd's character? Of course, in Season 10, he did go through a lot of development, as we know. Throughout the entire Oni and Dragon trilogy, he went through a lot of development, so it makes sense that he would have his final moment of the season with the first SPINJITZU master, as he is, in a way, the new SPINJITZU master. Going right on to the next thing, are the Oni completely gone? So the Oni were, I guess, the main antagonists of the entire trilogy. I mean, you could count seasons 8 and 9 as well, as they basically were, everything surrounding, everything that happened was basically surrounding the Oni with the inclusion of the Oni masks. And then we had Mistake, who was a full-blooded Oni to begin with. But are they really gone? I mean, the ninja did wipe most of them clean, if not all of them clean, off the face of Ninjago. But I don't know if they're really necessarily gone. Of course, we do know that this is the final conclusion of the Oni and Dragon trilogy, so presumably the Oni really aren't going to be in there much anymore, or in the actual series, probably, considering this was the last overall big arc to include them, but I really am not sure. Maybe they could always come back in a future season, I have no idea, or perhaps one of my theories will become true and Cole will actually turn out to be an Oni, and he has been one this whole time, though that does seem kind of far-fetched and a little out there for, the actual realistic tone of Ninjago. I say that like Ninjago is supposed to be a realistic show, but, you get what I mean. Next up, we have Cole. So Cole was kind of in a weird place this season from what I've heard. He sort of really didn't have that much, I don't want to say development, but he definitely didn't have as much development as the series might have suggested, going into Season 10, as he was, I suppose the primary ninja of this season. There's really not a definitive ninja that the story basically revolves around. It's just basically all of them, just like Seasons 8 and 9 were. But talking about Cole a little bit more, what exactly was he up to during this entire season? There was a long period of time where he was absent for a few, scenes from the episodes. For example, when Cole fell off the Destiny's Bounty to when he returned during the conclusion of episode 98. I really don't know what he was doing during that time, but, I guess we'll find out soon enough, or maybe we just won't. I think having him just fall off the bounty and really not have anything follow that is a little, disappointing, considering how the trailer for Season 10 especially hyped it up a lot, to actually make it seem like something was going to happen with Cole's character. But then as it turns out, nothing really happened, so I guess on that front we won't have anything coming out of Cole's character this season. If not, hopefully next season, but they really are giving Cole the short end of the stick when it comes to actual development, especially since, the last 2 seasons for Cole haven't really been full-on seasons. He had Day of the Departed, and he, of course, I suppose had March of the Oni as well, but, they weren't really full seasons, and they didn't really, revolve around him in the proper way that some other ninja have, in their respective seasons. Next up, did Jay and Nia actually, get engaged or get married or whatever? Of course, Jay had the little medal thing that he was going to give to Nia, and she ended up accepting it in the last episode, but I don't really know if that counts as marriage in the Ninjago world, because again, the Ninjago world is very different from our world. Just to name a few examples off the top of my head, we have dragons and elemental masters that exist in the Ninjago world, but in the real world we really don't have that, unfortunately. But I really don't know how marriage works in the Ninjago context. I guess doing the whole yin and yang thing is just sort of a symbol for becoming an official couple, but I thought that they already were, so I really don't know what that was all about there, the Jay and Nia thing. But I can let it pass. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I know initially going into season 10, everyone thought that this was going to be the main story surrounding it, as this scene was the very first clip that we got from Comic-Con of last year, but as it turns out, it's really nothing, and it's actually just a side story that really doesn't go anywhere and really doesn't have any long-lasting effects. I guess we'll just have to wait until season 11 to see if anything actually does come from this permanently, but I don't think it's going to be something that big in terms of the actual story, like everyone thought it was going into season 10. Next up, Garmadon. What exactly is up with Garmadon in Season 10? So from what I've been told, Garmadon is essentially a version of the Ninjago movie, variant of himself in Season 10, which I guess is kind of interesting. I mean, I can get behind that, as the Ninjago movie Garmadon is hilarious, and apparently Season 10 Garmadon is hilarious as well, and is much less sinister than what he was in Seasons 8 and 9, of course, when he was resurrected, which I do really like. I like the more comedic Garmadon. I think that works better for his character. But in Season 10, apparently, he has a lot more abilities, such as his Oni form, which I did a video on, which absolutely looks ridiculous, and we really didn't expect that coming from Garmadon's character. Of course, it did happen, and, I really don't have a lot to say about that I didn't already say in my Oni Garmadon video. But of course, as it stands right now, Garmadon is pretty much MIA in the Ninjago timeline. He didn't die or anything, to my knowledge, at the end of Season 10. He kind of just ran off, so I guess we'll see him back in Season 11, I suppose. But Season 10, while it was a little bit more human for Garmadon's character, I suppose it really doesn't seem like it was that important for his overall character. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Season 11 might go ahead and change that if Garmadon is even in Season 11. But as it stands right now, Garmadon, I guess, was sort of a controversial figure throughout the entirety of Season 10 from what I've heard, and I'll have to wait and see until I watch it, to make my final judgment on this. But, it sounds like Garmadon is going to be a huge surprise for me when I eventually sit down and do watch Season 10. Next up, was there a focus ninja? I don't really think so. I mean, like I said before, Seasons 8, 9, and 10 pretty much all revolve around the ninja team in its entirety, and, they really don't have any individual flair to them. I suppose Season 10 tried to make Cole have a little bit more importance than what he did in prior seasons, but again, I think it just fell flat there, as it really doesn't seem like Cole had anything of significance happen to him or his character throughout the entirety of Season 10. I really don't consider falling off the bounty and coming back randomly without any consequences to be vital to his character, so I really don't think he actually had anything going on, which again is kind of unfortunate, and I really don't think that there was a focused ninja. I mean, normally on the box art we can see the actual ninja, of importance for the season, but, we don't actually have sets for Season 10. We just have the Legacy sets, which includes Kai in the corner, which that's obviously not a reference to the main character of March of the Oni. It's just a reference to the Legacy line, which March of the Oni really does kind of follow, but at the same time it kind of strives away from the Legacy line more and more and sort of becomes its own thing. So I really don't feel like that's anything of importance, and I really don't feel like there was a focused ninja. Last up here, was this the end of Ninjago? I keep on seeing a lot of questions about this because, of course, the controversial ending card at the end of the episode 98 said the end, so, I really don't feel like that's anything to be concerned over. I did a video talking about this as well, but essentially I believe that was just for the US airing, or at least, if it was for the entire airing, it would just signify the end of the Oni and Dragon trilogy in the United States. If you didn't know, eventually it's going to be airing as a full-on movie. All 4 episodes will be airing edited together as one TV movie, so it makes sense that there would be a card, saying the end on it. I feel like that's going to be, it's going to make more sense when the actual United States airing actually, airs, whenever that may be. End of March? Sure, why not? But taking a look at it even more, I really don't feel like this is the end, guys. While it was a solid conclusion to the Oni and Dragon trilogy, there's no way they could wrap up the entire series like this. They left a few doors open, especially with Garmadon and the first Spinjitzu Master that I'll talk about in a future video, and I really don't feel like that will actually... You know, if this is the end, that's kind of disappointing because nothing was basically resolved for Garmadon's character. So I have a feeling that this isn't the end of Ninjago, and we'll be seeing more of all of these characters back when Season 11 eventually does hit. With that being said, guys, that'll just about do it for my overall view of Season 10, sort of collecting all of the open-ended questions and all of the loose ends that really haven't been concluded yet or, you know, have yet to be concluded. So if you enjoyed the video, as always, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up rating, guys. That would very much be appreciated. As always, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. That would very much be appreciated as well. Remember that the comment section is yours for the various discussions that you would like to have regarding this topic, or if you just had a comment of a general nature, that's fine as well. The links in the description will lead you over to my other social media pages, whether it be my Twitter, my Instagram, or my Patreon. Be sure to support me on all those platforms if you would like to. Again, guys, that'll just about do it for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. My name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.